So we're going to continue here. And what's left now is that big giant mess you see up there in Japan, which is mostly a bazillion planes, but there are some pretty powerful carrier fleets. We're currently at +5 to the die roll, so no threat of any of them going to Midway yet, but we're starting with Carrier Fleet 5. So this is one we definitely don't want to go to Midway, so I'm glad I'm rolling for that one now. 5 + 5 is 10, so they're withdrawing. That becomes a hold order, and now they get +4. But they do stay, and 3 of the planes stay with them. So I'm going to just put the planes north of them. And yeah, there's a lot of planes. Next is, and I'm going to stack these up properly. Here's the planes that have already stayed behind. I'm sorry, those are the infantry that already stayed behind. Here's the planes that already stayed behind. So that's what the situation looks like. So Surface Fleet 1 is next. Surface Fleet 1 is cremated. So if they were to attack Midway, that would be an easy win. That's a 1 + 10 is 11. They get a support roll, which turns into a hold. So they stay behind. And then 3 more planes stay behind. Next is Carrier Fleet 1. We don't want this one. 16 is what they rolled. That's a reinforced. They're going to an objective with Japanese forces ashore. So we happen to have this one, and this one. So 3, 6, 9. Rolled a 5 and 3, 6. Yeah. So that means Carrier Fleet 1 is joining Carrier Fleet 3, and this battle that we thought was going to be a pounce is now formidable. And yes, let's see, 3 planes are coming with them. 1, 2, 3, and 3 planes just landed. So that battle's now become a real problem child for us. And they don't even reduce the number. So now we're on to Carrier Fleet 4, another bad one. That becomes 13. They're moving east, and they're taking 2 planes with them. So they go to Iwo Jima, and 2 of the planes go with them. Then we have Surface Fleet 3. It's a 15. They're reinforcing. So again, it's 3, 6, 9. This one's a 6. So Surface Fleet 3 is also joining the big mega battle. And they're bringing with them 3 planes. 1, 2, 3. So this is not looking good. Our forces in Midway are just sitting there doing nothing. I feel super bad because at one point I was going to bring all 4 carriers to this battle because I thought Carrier Fleet 3 by itself was hard enough to win with just 2 carriers. I needed all 4. So unfortunately I forgot to do that. So yeah, so now we're just rolling for 2 planes, and that's a 15, so 3, 6, 9. And again, those 2 planes are also coming to the Gilbert Islands. It's almost like they knew. And so our big attack, I now want to end as soon as possible because this is a slaughter for us, against us. That's bad. It's very, very bad. So, all right, let's start with New Guinea. New Guinea says if the Japanese start with forces ashore, they add a land-based aircraft from the reinforcement area. There are 0 aircraft in the reinforcement area, so this is the perfect time to attack New Guinea. And New Guinea's situation is we're literally trying to land, and they're on the land. That's it. So they're going to roll 1 battle plan, and we're going to have 3. I'm definitely not spending my battle. I have 1 support point to spend for battle plans, and I think you know where that's going to be spent. I'm just removing the bingo chips at the moment. And yeah, so we have 3 battle plans, and I get to see how many turns there's going to be. 5 is 2 turns. So we are going to land, but we're not going to be able to do anything else. We're going to be able to land, and I'm going to use an artillery so I can get a hit in on him. But there's nothing I can do because we don't get to attack until we actually... Oh... We can't attack until we get into our foxhole. So if I take this, see, I can increase the turns by 1, but that's my whole battle plan points. I just don't want to spend my support point to win this battle. I could have. So I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. So first round, nothing's going to happen. Like we can draw their plan. Here's what we're drawing for them. So, you know, it's nothing. They have nothing to attack, and then we're just going to land on the beach, right? So then we go to the last round. This is the final round. So they're going to draw their plan, and they have this, which doesn't help them. And they do get to attack with a 3, and they do hit us, which sucks. So we take a damage. And then we have this, so we hit them. So basically, both they and us are sitting on New Guinea injured. That's the outcome of that battle. It looks like that. So let's try this one here, which is Samoa. Samoa was, if the Japanese begin the battle with forces ashore, and they do, advance the Japanese resupply by 2, which is already 15, so neener neener. And we are trying to land, and they have 1 battalion in a foxhole. So we're going to roll for turns. That is a 2 turn, which means that all that's going to happen is we're going to land for turn 1, and we're going to advance for turn 2. They get 1 attack on us. I'm actually going to spend my 3 points to adjust the battle duration by 1. So here's their 1 attack on us. Oh my gosh, they hit us. So now I get to attack them because I added an extra turn. So I get to roll a 3. I hit them. If they roll a 1, they will kill us. They rolled a 2, so we're good. So this situation is also sitting with both of us injured. Samoa is also hanging in the balance. Now we have this crazy situation where they're trying to land on New Caledonia with a single infantry. So I gotta grab New Caledonia. So this is all if the Japanese, they are not ashore, but we are this time. And so the number of turns is 3, and I'm going to take the artillery, so we get a successful attack, and then I'm going to take, roll an extra attack for my infantry. So that's my 3 points. So turn 1, they land. Nothing else happens. Turn 2, this will damage them. So this flips over, and I basically get to attack twice. So I'm going to just roll 2 dice. And I rolled a 1, and I miraculously killed the guy. So I successfully defended New Caledonia. That was actually very lucky. So I'll take it though. Next up is the Solomon Islands, which I'm not feeling good about. Okay, Solomon Islands says if the Japanese start with forces, add 1 landcraft from the reinforcement area. That's not going to happen. They get 2 Japanese battalions to their transports if they had forces already ashore. That is not the case here. So they have a transport with 2 units on it. We have a battalion in a foxhole. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 5 airfields. But they do have Surface Fleet 2. So we got to go look at Surface Fleet 2, which is something. It's not like the end of the world stuff, but they have 2 cruisers and a destroyer. Now, one thing's for certain here is I'm probably not going to be able to sink that transport. But for the first, well, let's see how many turns we got. I rolled a 7. So they actually get 3 turns. It's a lot for them. And I think the more turns helps them than me. Their battle plan points, they have 5. They're going to get to draw 2 battle plans. We have 3 battle plan points, and if I do the one that says, say, you get an extra hit with your bombers, I can actually sink one of their ships, which is pretty cool. I'm sort of leaning towards I want to get out of this battle as quickly as possible. And that's the other interesting thing. With the infantry ashore, I can take an artillery and get a guaranteed hit against one of their battalions. Because the other thing is I can ignore their ships and just try to hit their battalion so they don't have forces on the land. Which is, I think, what I want to do. So I'm going to do well, no. I am going to do the bomb does an extra hit. And I would love to spend the battle plan point here, or supply point, to get more battle plan points, but I need it for the other battle, so I just can't do it. The Surface Fleet 2 is going to ruin my day, I think. So for the first battle, this is first round. Well, let's draw there too before I talk. So First Light and screening ship. So their carriers are not here, so we got lucky. Okay, all my planes, all of them are going up against the coastal because the transport and all 3 of their ships are there. There's nothing else for me to even go against. There's no dogfight. There is anti-air, so 3 2s. And they missed with all 3. I'm finding that the dice are easier to read on this blue background, but then I'm hitting stuff all the time. So I wish I had a nice compromise for you there. I would back this up so I could roll here, but then my camera falls off the table. But I'll try to find some happy middle ground there. Okay, so the anti-aircraft failed. So then we do our bomb runs, but unfortunately, you can see with all my bombers that are on this island, they're all B-17s, so it's all 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1s. But we might be able to hit. Let's see. No, those are 3 misses, and then those are 2 more misses. So we missed with everything. I sort of expected that. We've gotten lucky in the past. And so we hit the end of the first round, and the Japanese land on the beach. Or no, I'm sorry, 4, 4, 3. They get to attack. The 3 is the blue die. So they do hit with 2. They hit twice. So I'm going to destroy my battalion and try to save my planes. So that's the situation there. Now we go to 2 turns left. And this is where having the extra turns is saving them. So here's their 2 battle plans. If there's infantry ashore, they get 1 successful attack and then another carrier piece of crap thing for them. All of my planes are going against their battalions. So I'm going to try to make it so nobody's on this island by the time this is done except for my planes. So, and then they're just not equipped to handle ships, so there's no point. So there's no anti-air, so I'm just going to roll. And this time it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s instead of 5 1s. And here we go. There's 2 hits right there with 3 of the dice. And then there's a 3rd hit there. And of course, I'm going to use this to get an extra hit. So that's 4 hits. I completely eliminated their battalions. So in terms of what I was hoping to accomplish, I accomplished it. So now I just have to survive this attack plus the next turn where they're attacking our airfields. So 4, 4, 3, and the 3 is going to be the blue die. And they do 1 hit, so the airfield does reduce to 4. And I am going to have to take out a plane, so they're all the same. So I'll just take out a B-17. And now we're on to the final turn. There is no infantry ashore, so they didn't get to do an attack. They stop a hit, and their infantry get extra rolls. So since they stop a hit, my planes are not even going to try to go after their ships because their anti-aircraft has a better chance of hitting us than we do of hitting them. So I'm just going to try to survive this attack. The blue is once again the 3, and they did 1 hit, so I'm going to lose 1 more plane. But I successfully defended the island, which I'll take that. So Solomon Islands is still in our control. And their fleet, of course, did its job of hammering us. So we come back over here. And there they go. All right. So let's do the big battle now. And this is the Gilbert Islands. And has the U.S. ever held the Gilbert Islands? I don't think they have. So they're going to start with 2 fortifications. And then Japan's going to get 2 extra battle plans. So that stinks. And then they have this situation. However, I'm only going to take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of these planes have to go back to Japan. And the reason is Gilbert Islands has a limit on how many aircraft it can hold. So I'm not going to let them have unlimited aircraft. I think the rules might actually let them do that, but screw that. That's not the way to do it. And there's a transport for them. And then we have a transport for us. And a whole bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to put 2 destroyers in the ocean. And get our cruisers out, which we're going to have a lot of. And 2 subs, which are going to go against their carriers. And 2 aircraft carriers for us. And then a destroyer here for them. Okay, so the problem is we're going against 2 carrier fleets and a surface fleet. Holy buckets. Carrier fleet 3, carrier fleet 1, which is all those ships. Carrier fleet 1 is adding 2 more infantry. Carrier fleet, did I say carrier fleet 3? This is carrier fleet 4. Carrier fleet 3 is even worse. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 6 ships. Holy buckets. Carrier Fleet 1 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships, so they're at 11. And 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, they have more than 17, so they're going to get 4 battle plan points. So let me just adjust that right now. I want this to end as quickly as possible. And I'm not done yet. Now Surface Fleet 3 is also here, which is only 2 ships, but they do bring 1 more infantry with them. And it's going to be like so. So let's position this so you can see a little bit better. They have escort carrier, a full carrier, Shikaku, escort carrier, a battleship, a submarine group, which I'm going to put down on ours, a cruiser, a light carrier, a full carrier, a destroyer, a light carrier, a cruiser, and a full carrier. So 4 full carriers. I mean, even if I had like my entire Navy, even the stuff that I have over at Midway here, this would be a battle I'm concerned about. Okay, so per usual rules, the highest anti-air goes up there first. They're all tied, so 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So this would be this one. Is going up for anti-air. Best is going there. And then for anti-air, the even is going up. And then this goes here. So that's how that situation plays out. Their carriers are very well defended. I don't know. I just truly don't know. I mean, do I really just take a pot shot at their carriers? There's no way I'm taking this island. This island is a fortress right now. So let's see how many turns we're going to get. I rolled a 2, so it's 1 battle turn. That's it. So that changes things. I just need to survive 1 turn. So what I want to do is my transport is going to drop my units on the beach, but as long as my transport doesn't get killed, my units won't even die. So I am going to spend my supply point to get 3 extra battle points, and I want to inflict as much damage as possible. So I think I want to do, I would love to do a bomb does an extra hit, but that's 3 of my points. I definitely want to do the surface ships do an extra hit. Although that's probably only going to kill a battalion. Yeah, that'll just kill the battalion. That may not be as exciting as I thought. The other thing we may want to consider is first light, which will prevent them from launching their planes, and we can maybe get sneak attack a carrier there. I don't want to do that though. Instead, I mean, the anti-air does an extra hit is nice because they're going to come after us with a crap ton of planes. I can do the one that prevents their torpedo from hitting our carrier. That may not be a bad one. So re-roll a sonar, a depth charge, or a torpedo roll. Dogfight does an extra hit. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. We'll do that one. So there's 6 points right there. So why would I do Dogfight does an extra hit? Well, because they're probably going to go after my carriers, and if I'm protecting my carriers from them, then it allows me to keep my carriers alive, right? So I'm drawing 4 battle plans for them. The first one is they get huge bonuses to their ship combat and anti-air. That's not good. Their submarines get a +4. This is bad. First light. And another bonus to their ship combat and anti-air rolls. This isn't good. So a bonus to their ship combat and anti-air rolls means that they're going to get plus, they have 2 of these, so they're going to get +6 to their ship combat. So their battleship is a guaranteed hit, their cruiser is a guaranteed hit. So both of their coastal ships are guaranteed hits. They're going to get +4 to their anti-air rolls. So those aircraft carriers that, so for example, the Shikaku has a 4-2, it's now an 8-2. So if I go up against them to try to bomb their carriers and do some damage, which is actually what I was strongly considering doing, they're going to get to slaughter me because they're going to guarantee a hit for each carrier. So that would be 2 hits. And then their 2 escorts are going to get, they have to roll a 6 or less. I mean, they could potentially hit me 4 times, which would destroy 2 of my torpedo bombers. And then I'd be left with 4 dive bombers to attack them. But you got to understand that everybody else gets to roll too. So they're going to have 2 more carriers that get to roll, and those are going to be at a at an 8-2. So that's 2 more hits. That's 1 more dive bomber gone. And then they have 2 more carriers with a 4-1, which it's possible they'll miss with a few, but I may be down to 2 or 3 dive bombers, and that's it. That could be bad. So I would love to take out their carriers, don't get me wrong. But what's even worse is their depth charges and torpedo attacks get extra attack as well. So their submarine is going to be attacking with a +7 or a 7 or less. That's almost a guaranteed hit on us. I don't like that either. And you know what, to make matters worse? This thing that I've been using to re-roll there, this only re-rolls ours. So there's another errata, because I think I used it to cancel a hit on one of my carriers. It doesn't work that way. It only lets us re-roll our attack. So, what do? I have to send my plane somewhere. And initially, my plan was I was going to go after their carriers. Now, the good news here is they don't have a huge boost to their anti-aircraft guns, but they at least don't have the negate 1 hit, crap that you usually see. So, if we do somehow survive the anti-aircraft and get a hit in, we would cause some massive damage. But here's the deal. One of them is going to get to attack us. So a 0 and a Val and a Kate are all coming in first light. So before we even launch our planes, they're going to try to damage us. So I get to roll anti-aircraft of 3, 4-2, and a 2-1, because there's 3 of them. So I'm going to get to roll everything. So 2 3s. Nothing. And then a 4-2, and the blue will be the 2-1. So I did hit with the 2-1, but just 1 hit. And unfortunately, it's only going to be the 0. So they're going to get to sink our carrier. They're rolling with a 6 and a 4. The blue will be the 4. 7 and a 5. Oh my gosh, did I get lucky. So one of their carriers is already spent with its attack. So now we got to move on to what are we going to do. So what I've been always doing in the past is I set up my my fighters over my carriers because you know, I'm trying to protect my carriers from getting killed. One of the other strategies is to send my fighters with the bombers, like they just did, because when the bombers hit, when the carriers hit their anti-aircraft, they're going to hit the fighters first, and the bombers will stay alive, and then the bombers will get their attack in. So by doing this strategy, I am leaving my carriers threadbare for them to attack. And at the same time, I'm going all in that I'm going to sink me some carriers. That's the strategy. The other strategy is I can just go after their transport ship, which you can see has a nice little stack of doom, but I need to do 6 hits. It is possible I'm going to do 6 hits, and here's why. There's a whole bunch of ships here that might get a few hits in, and then, you know, my bombers might get a few hits in as well, and I happen to take the thing that says if I hit at least once, I hit again. So 1 hit from a bomber is going to sink a ship. And there is a battleship there and a cruiser. So I could take the moral victory of sinking the battleship and cruiser, leave their carriers alive, and then take out the transport, which gets rid of all their infantry units and all that nonsense. And that means the Gilbert Islands won't be quite as strong. I'm not as concerned about them landing those troops because those troops are, yeah, they're going to be impossible for me to take. I get that. But I'm not interested in it means I'm going to lose my 2 infantry that's landing on the beach. But Gilbert Islands was already theirs in the first place. So which is better, sinking the carriers or this battleship? I mean, I really think there's a chance we're going to get that transport. I just don't know what the value is because most of them are battalions and it's just free troops for them anyways. If it wasn't for the fact that they just got a huge boost to their anti-aircraft guns, I'd be a lot more excited about going after those carriers. And I think for sure their sub is going to hit our carrier. So I think we're going to take 1 hit with our carriers, and that's not good. And don't forget, they have land bombers and stuff too that are also going to be involved. This is not an ideal situation. All right, well, I got to do something. So I'm going after their carriers. We gotta make them pay. So for sure I'm doing that. The real debate is, do I stay home and go on CAG duty, or do I, basically I'm using this guy to absorb their hits. And I think the only viable strategy is absorb the hits. So that way I increase the maximum chance of damaging them. But I'm basically sacrificing my own carriers to do it. And I don't know, I think I'm already taking at least 1 hit with my own carriers. So I'm going all in for their carriers. And the anti-aircraft role is the only thing that's going to threaten me in that. So let's see where the chips lie. Now for them, they have 4 full strength carriers, which is going to have 3 zeros for sure for the 4 full strength carriers, right? One of them is already gone, so that's the reason why I didn't get the 4th one out. And then we have 2 light carriers, which is going to also have a 0. So I'm going to get 2 more. I'm running out of pieces. That's how bad this is. But I do have 2 more. And then I have 2 escort carriers that only have vowels. So the 2 escort carriers are each going to have one of these. And then let's just grab pieces here. This would be full carrier 1, full carrier 2, full carrier 3. And I'm missing 2 vowels for the light carrier. So I could, just gonna grab 2 of the 1943 ones. And I just got to remember there's 2 1943 ones here. Okay, that's what they look like. It's foreboding. And they already attacked with one of them. So the cool thing though is I get to reuse my anti-air against these other ones. So we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. So full carrier bombing group is going after our carriers. Done. Next one. They're going after our coastal ships. Next one. They are also going after our coastal ships. And I sort of knew that that was also a potential issue. Next one is going after the coastal ships. Next one, coastal ships. Next one, coastal ships. And the last one, coastal ships. Now the ones on land, coastal ships. So our carriers got a little bit of a light load. The coastal ships, on the other hand, are going to get pummeled. And, okay, so now we're rolling for zeros. So let's do the ones on land first. I'm going to re-roll that. So it's a 3. They're going to attack the coastal ships. Next, a 1 is defending, they're going on CAG duty. A 9, they're going to absorb AA. A 10, going to absorb anti-air. A 3, and a 6. So that's how that's playing out. Next we do the dogfights, and there's only one place the dogfight's happening. That's over the Japanese carriers. So they're rolling an 8-4. I rolled a 9. Excellent. We have 2 5-3s, and we missed with both of ours. So nothing exciting there. There's nowhere else a dogfight's even happening, so we're fine. Next, we have anti-air. So let's start with our carriers. We're rolling 2 3s. They're both misses, and then we have a 4-2 and a 2-1. The blue will be the 2-1. And they're both misses, so we did awful. So let's roll for our anti-air for the coastal ships. I have 1, 2, 3 2s, 3, 4, 5 2s, and 2 3s. Here's the 2 3s. Misses. Here's the 5 2s. 1 hit. Just 1 hit. And unfortunately, that 1 hit is only going to go against a 0. So they're going to get to pummel us. Now, I've been rolling nothing but misses, and so we're going to go to the meat and potatoes part of this, where I need it to miss, and it better stay that way. It better stay consistent. Okay, so first things first, their only escorts is a 2 2s. So we're going to roll 2 2s. Those are both misses. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 planes against 2, 4, 6, 8 carriers. So all their carriers get to roll. They're going to do 4 2 1s. Here's 3 of them. There's a 1. That's 2 hits. Okay, so 2 hits so far for them. And now we're going to do 4 4 2s. Those are all misses. And a miss. We got super lucky. Okay, I'm happy now. We're in this game. So we're going to lose one of our fighters. And now it's going to just be, we're pummeling each other. So let's start with them bombing us. So they have a 6 and a 4. The 4 will be the blue. I rolled a 1 and a 2. So that's 2 hits on us. So both of our carriers are damaged. And we're probably going to lose one as soon as their submarine attacks. But for now, I'm trying to hold on to them. So they're both damaged. But they did their job. They came in with 2 bombers, they hit with 2 bombers. Now up here is just nastiness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 4s, 1, 2, and 2 6s. So let's do the 1, 2, and 2 6s. The 2 will be this one. The 2 6s each hit, so we have 2 hits right now. And then 7 4s. There's 1 hit, 2 hits, so we're at 4 hits so far, and then 1 more is a miss. So 4 hits against us. So I could save, or I can just lose 2 ships. I'm saving. Losing ships sucks. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hits against us. That does reduce my ability to hit them, but it is what it is. And then now for the creme de la creme. We get to hit them. So this is our chance to hit their carriers. We're rolling 2 3s, 4 4s, and 1 1. Okay, so the blue is going to be the 1 1, and these are the 2 3s. This is our ability to hit them. We got 1 hit. All right, so 1 hit. So then now we have 4 4s. Those are all 3 misses. And another miss. Dang it. But I will use this, so we got 2 hits on them. The 2 hits means that we actually sink a carrier. And so I'm going to go ahead and sink the Zuikaku. So it's gone. Because remember, the rules are you have to hit one thing and then you have to hit it again before you can hit something else. So the Japanese doesn't get to spread the hits like we just did. Okay, so that's it for the bombers. So now we move to the torpedoes, and this is where I'm nervous. So this jerk gets a +4 to his torpedo. So he gets a 7 or better. So we need an 8, 9, or 10. And of course he hits. So we just lost the Lexington. Lexington sunk. So a little thematic there. And then we get to roll depth charges. So we have a 3. Well, I gotta wait. We're gonna do our submarine attack. So we get to roll 2 of these. They hit with a 2. There's 1 hit right there. And I could choose to re-roll 1 to see if I can get another hit. So I'm gonna hit the Shikaku. The chances of me hitting on a reroll was pretty low. I could try to hit their submarine. Again, pretty low, but I gotta use it somewhere. I'm going to use it on the sub. So 2 or less hits. That's a 3. Crap. So now I'm rolling for my depth charge, and I miss. And let's see, if I would have re-rolled the depth charge, that would have still been a miss. So I'm happy now. Didn't make the wrong choice. Now we do surface attacks, and they have 2 hits coming in because they get automatic hits with their bullcrap this situation. So both of their surface ships hit automatically, and they're going to hit whatever's the lowest number, and so it's going to be our ships. So I'm just going to hit 2 ships that haven't already been hit because I'm trying to keep everybody alive. But I get to attack at full strength. So I have a 4-4-4, a 2-2-2, and a 1. So let's roll the 1. And then the 2-2-2. All misses. And then the 4-4-4. All misses. And so I don't even get the extra hit. I don't even get to sink one of them, which is what would have happened if we would have gotten the extra hit. The battle turn is over, so their infantry has nothing to hit. My infantry don't hit anything. We survived this, but we survived this with a crap ton of damage and 1 sunken carrier, but we also sank one of theirs. So I think all things considered, we came out of this pretty well. These 2 are also taking damage, so I'm going to set the damaged ones aside. And these are all going to cost 1 point to heal. And then the carrier is going to cost 2 points to heal because he's more expensive. And that's going to seriously remove some of my spending power next turn. But I have to do it. And it doesn't matter about their carrier planes or ours. Those are expendable. Oh, and I gotta grab the 1943 ones. I found one of them. Where's the other one? Oh, come on. Oh, found the other one. All right, and then tear this down. I think all things considered, we fared well. Considering we were up against 3 fleets and we had half of ours, that was a dangerous game. And we're going to lose our 2 infantry next round because we are stuck with 2 infantry on that island and we can't support them because we have no ships. Our battle, or these guys come back. This comes back. This does not. There's just so much to tear down here. Okay, so I'm going to be able to move the camera in a second. Just grabbing all the Japanese pieces here. So Carrier Fleet 1, Carrier Fleet 3, and Surface Fleet 3 is what we're dealing with here. I'm just having a hard time holding these pieces. Okay, there we go. And then these battle plans go back in the cup. All right, so let's move you over here so you can see what's going on. Okay, first thing is Shokaku's injured. So they're damaged. The Maya Atago, Destroyer Group 3, the Junyo, must have been one of the extra ones. So I think it goes, like there was an extra one there. The Hio was also an extra one. the Shoho, the Ryujo, the Onyo is another extra one, the Teo, the Icy Hyuga, Suzuka Kumano goes there, and then subgroup 2 there. Okay, so we have extra carriers here. So this carrier is going to go there, and this one will reform here. Now, what's going to happen is during the Japanese repair step, this is going to go into the reinforcement pool. So they will lose this carrier for a few turns. Okay, so we're done. We're rolling for their reinforcements, which is not even worth rolling because their reinforcements is completely empty. So they go back to 0. And then, like I said, during the supply check, anything that's damaged of theirs goes back, except for the units that are in battle. So the Shokaku will go back into the reinforcement pool at full strength, and so they'll get it like the next turn. And they're not going to get it this turn, of course. So we at least did some damage to them, but we did pay a small price ourselves. We will be able to rebuild that Lexington in 43, but for now, it is what it is. So we're moving to the final turn. And this, of course, we need to hold objectives, and 3 of them we're not holding. So, and we have no ships, because as you can see, 1 ship is moving into the Hawaiian Islands, and everything else is going to be at port. So this is our situation. These are all coming back, and so are these, and these, which we're going to repair, right? So that's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to cost 8 to repair those, and it behooves us to repair them because trying to replace them is insanity. So we're going to get 22 points this turn. So 22 minus 8 is 14. Yes, 14. So that stress again. I was telling you about that stress. You know, you had the answer and then you're second guessing yourself. So I'm only collecting 14 points this round. I don't need points for battle plan points, but everything produces, so I at least get some stuff to move down. And I think that, remember, I'm at a limit of 20 here, so this is 10, 14, and then I can add this one on to make it 18, right? And this cruiser would make it 20. So that's 6 more. And I end up with 4 points, like so. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points left. All my infantry are built, but I can start building some battalions, or I can start building some more planes. It's hard to say what the right thing to do is. I would love to get to a point where I'm getting a free rush each turn, but it seems like a nice to have when I'm trying to just survive, right? We have one final turn where they can possibly take Midway. And, I can heal my units. So this would be 1, 2. So that's 2 more. So take that away. I'm now at 6 points. I can just save them because I can't build more ships. I'm at my 20-point max. I don't want to start building towards more industry. I just don't have the capacity to support that. I have a crap ton of planes I can build. So I could, you know, get 6 points worth of planes production going. The problem with planes is they're great for holding objectives, but they're not good for taking them. And we have a bit of an issue there where we need to take objectives. So I think I'm going to save the points. You know, no, I'm going to at least build one plane here. Just looking at my options. This one's an excellent one. A 5.3 with a 4.3 bomber, so that costs 2. So I'll do that. I'll spend 2 for that one. And that leaves me with 4 battle plan points. I mean, I could try to pin some of their stuff, but all that's doing is pinning them. It's not that exciting, to be quite honest with you. I'm wondering, because I know I lost a lot of my B-17, so I was thinking about replacing one of those. But you know what? I'm going to save the 4 points. We'll see how this plays out. I may need extra battle plan points, especially with some of these battles where it's my Marine against their battalion, right? These 2 become available, and I'm going to put them in the West Coast. And that's it. I have 2 ships that are still ready to be produced for 42. The 43 ships will come out next turn. And since we lost to Lexington, we'll be able to replace it in the next turn. That'll be cool. But we're at our max, so I actually can't spend them next turn. So that's an interesting dilemma. But okay, let's move on to the action. So I have 4 points. I could spend them to pin fleets, you know, because, I mean, the point is still valid that, for example, Carrier Fleet 5, I don't want that going to Midway. So I could pin Carrier Fleet 5 so it doesn't go there. So you at least have some control over, okay, they might go to Midway, but they're at least not going to go to Midway with these fleets. Carrier Fleet 4 would be another one that's pretty formidable. 5 and 4 are definitely full strength. Carrier Fleet 1 is full strength, that's this one. The rest of them are damaged. And then Battleship Fleet 1 is full strength, so I could pin 4 of them is what I'm saying. But then I would have no battle plan points left. No supply points left for battle points. So that's an interesting choice. I'm holding on to my points. I think that's the right plan here. So we're just going to do our movement. And we have one single ship that we can move, and it's going to go to Midway because I don't know what else to do with it. I mean, I could try to help these other areas, but I'm helping Midway because it's the one objective I have and I would like to hold. And I do have an infantry and a plane that I can do something with. This is a really nice plane. I can send it, for example, to help out in Samoa or even to help out over here. And that's what I'm going to do because since I have infantry on the ground, I can land a plane there. Well, in fact, I can take all 3 of these planes and bring it over now and support New Guinea. And then this one can actually support Samoa. So we could do something pretty cool like that. And I have another infantry. I'm giving up on Gilbert. I don't think I can take Gilbert this turn, but I do think I can at least take these 2. And then this last infantry, I'm going to send to Midway Island just because I need to defend something. And I think Midway now, or no, I got to send it to the Solomon Islands because there's nobody here. This is technically a Japanese objective right now. So that's what I will do. Okay. All right. Moving on to Japanese movement. Let's flag the ones that can't go anywhere. 1942, by the way, is, with these expansions in particular, is about survival. Japan is clearly superior to you, which I think is thematic. So this is truly about survival, and maybe you'll hold enough points or not. Like right now, I need to have 4 objective points to not be replaced. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have just enough to not be replaced. But if I lose one of my objectives, I'm going to fall into the replaced category, and then my campaign's over. This is tough. They made this a tough game. I wonder how they handled this with their playtesting. Okay, so now I'm stuck with, just with no Navy right now. This is basically, they get to do whatever they want to us. So where do they have the least amount of troops? Surface Fleet 2 has 3. Battleship Fleet 1 has 4. Carrier Fleet 2 is really rocked, but that's up in Japan where there's a ton of troops. I think Mariana Islands is the first to go. That's these 2. So let's roll for them. And I rolled a 2, which is a hold. So it does crank them up. And yeah, they're both gonna be impacted by, no, they're not both. Only one only one infantry is impacted by the hold. So I roll again for them. Now it's an 8, which is a withdrawal. So this one moves back. So next item is going to be Surface Fleet 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. That's a refit. So they're going to go back to Japan. And a refit causes this to go up by 2. Next one is Battleship Fleet 1. That's an 8 plus 2 is 10. They're going to withdraw 1 closer to Japan. That's not a problem for them. So they do that, and this goes up by 1. Next is Carrier Fleet 4, Iwo Jima. Seven plus 5 is 12. They're going to move south. So he moves here and joins that. And then 1 infantry goes with him. And 2 planes. Okay, so now they're down to 1. So that one doesn't get to move. I know this one's already there, but he moved up. So, so now it's between this stack and that stack. I still think Japan has way more because there's a crap ton of planes. So we're gonna do this stack, and I'm gonna pile them up like so. So we're gonna start with Surface Fleet 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. They're going to withdraw 1 closer to Japan. So this moves up 1. So a withdrawal means they're going to where their troops are. So that would be here. And with that goes an infantry and 2 planes. So they are making it easier on me by taking stuff with them. Oh, hold on. Can they move if they're under attack? This is a good question. Since there's a battle going on, they may not go. Let me check. I think that's the case. Japan cannot move its infantry out of areas that also contain U.S. forces. Do not roll orders for these forces and ignore them if you're rolling orders for other forces in their area. So yeah, so that battalion's staying, but the planes do go. So we still have 2 more planes, and I'm rolling for them. Oh, and I'm also rolling for a carrier fleet. So 3 plus 5 is 8. That's another withdrawal. So the carrier fleet is withdrawing and taking the 2 planes with them. But yes, the infantry stays. Then carrier fleet 3. This goes up by 1. 3 plus 5 is 8. They're withdrawing to there. And this goes up by 1 again. And then we have Japan. So surface fleet 1 is the first one. 8 plus 5 is 13. They're going east. So surface fleet 1 is coming down to Iwo Jima. And they're taking with them 1 infantry. And surface fleet 1, yeah. So 1 infantry goes with them. And 2 planes. Done. I'm not going to put markers. Japan's the only place that doesn't have markers right now. So nothing moved on the reinforcement track. So carrier fleet 2, I rolled a 6 plus 5 is 11. That support becomes a hold, unfortunately. So now they're up to 15. So carrier fleet 2 holds, as does this infantry and 3 planes. So I'm just going to grab from stacks there. So now we have carrier fleet 5. They could go to Midway. I rolled a 1. And of course, my mega stack of fleets here just crashed. Just know that they're all on the next one. Holy cow. They are worse than sleeved cards. Too bad they weren't like the War Room ones where they click into each other, like Legos. Okay. So I rolled a 1. Plus 10 is 11. So it's a support action, but it becomes a hold for them, which is fine. They're already maxed out. So 3 of the planes are holding with them. I'm just rolling for planes now, folks. So 2 plus 10 is 12. 2 planes are going south. And there's just 2 more planes left to roll for. 3, that's a 13. So now they're going east. And that's it, we're done. There's no attack on Midway from the Japanese. They actually withdrew in every situation where they were present, and they never reinforced anything. So a couple of really cool things are happening. First of all, we land unchallenged, and we take the Solomon Islands. And as far as battles go, we only have 2. So this will be a nice round. Quite excited with how that turned out for us. And I think that makes up for all the crap that has happened for us earlier. We're going to survive 1942, folks. By taking that objective, we now have more than 4. So we're not going to get kicked out, because they said 4 or less objectives we would get kicked out. So we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Alaska's 5. So we have that 1 extra objective we needed to not get replaced. And I have a feeling we're actually going to get 2 more. So let's see what we can pull off here. Oh, my dog brought her ball. We got to take care of my dog. She's always good to me. So, all right, which one do we want to do first? I think we should do New Guinea first. So let me look at I have Samoa already on the board. All right, we have Samoa already up there. So let's do Samoa first. So the rules for Samoa is if the Japanese begin to battle with forces ashore, advance the resupply by 2. Resupply is already maxed out. We have a Marine in the foxholes. We have a plane. And they have a damaged battalion that can't even attack. So I'm very pleased with this. We have 7 So we're going to get 3 turns, and I'm not going to buy any points. I'm just going to use the artillery, which gives me 1 guaranteed successful infantry attack. And the only thing we're rolling for now is it's possible they can get a plan that stops a hit. And that one I have to draw another. Ship combat. So they're screwed. This infantry ashore, we get a guaranteed infantry attack. Their attack value is 0, so because they were damaged. And so yes, we take control of this objective as well. And that means that our supply is back in business. Speaking of which, I have to take away 2 points. I'm taking 2 points away because since we didn't take Samoa last time, the New Caledonia battalion and the battalion that was on New Guinea both took damage. So I'm gonna do that. And now we're down to just 2 supply points. Okay, so that was easy enough. Got a Marine and a plane there. So now I just take this away and we go to New Guinea. Now New Guinea has 1, 2, 3, 4 planes. We have our infantry, and then they have their damaged infantry. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm taking the artillery, and then I'm going to take the extra infantry attack to try to help me out here. How many turns is this one? It's just 1 turn. So that's not good, but everything else is. So we're going to draw a screening ship. So good luck to them there. The infantry ashore is going to kill them no matter what. I don't have to roll anything else. Let's just roll for their attack. They rolled a 10. They hit with a 2. They're destroyed. So we win this. And that's good as well. So New Guinea flips over. And this is how it ended up. We're missing 1 objective. So I think, considering how difficult this game has been, and it is difficult, this was an amazing outcome. So I have a little sheet here, and this was the basic game here. You can see my score from the basic game. You actually count how many objectives you have at the end of each turn. This was the first campaign I was recording that you guys didn't get to see because I deleted that recording. But I'm just gonna, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I actually have 7. So we're gonna go ahead and keep that. And here we go. That's a lie. This is my 3rd try. Technically it's my 4th try. But we'll call it that. And you know, 6 years from now when people are, you know, or 60 years from now when people are digging all my stuff from the rubble, they're going to be like, look, this guy was awesome. His first ever campaign, he got a 7. It'll go into the Smithsonian. All right. There we go. We do need to finish their turn. So obviously this goes back to 0. I don't need to roll. Their carrier is coming back into service, the Shokaku, and it will go right back into its rightful place. So that happens at the end of their turn. Our supply check, all that stuff works. What's going to happen is this one is going to go into this spot, and then all of these are actually going to be available for the next turn. And this guy is going to be there. And we move on to 1943. So here's the thing with 1943. So from here on out, I'm going to talk about the rules for how you take a campaign like this and move it to 1943. If you're only interested in just watching playthrough, then just skip to the next video. But I do recommend you at least listen to the rules part, because if you're ever doing this yourself, you need to understand that there's actually multiple choices for what to do. So here's the first thing. When you're moving to 1943, this is the expansion that uses the industry. So when you enter a new year, it says, note the number of objectives you hold with supply counters off to the side. Continue on 1943 and beyond. At the start of each new year, reference the New Year's reinforcement sheet. Add the noted Japanese forces to their ship, infantry, and land-based sections of their reinforcement area map. Okay? Add your forces to those available for production. If the U.S. starts the new year with any destroyed groups, add the current year's counter of the same name to your pile of ships available for production. So, for example, in 42 turns, the U.S. subgroup 2 was destroyed. In 1943, you get to add that subgroup 2 to the pile of ships available for production. Anything that was destroyed, land-based aircraft, they're available immediately. Use the appropriate year of carrier-based aircraft as the war enters a new year. So that's the first thing. This is not a choice yet. It's just a rule. So the carrier-based aircraft go away. So I happen to have them in these little, things. So I'm going to just set those off to the side. I can deal with that between videos. So we move on to the 1943 carrier-based aircraft. And here you could see that we move up to a 6.3. So we're moving to the Hellcats. They're a little bit better. And the Avengers come out, the TBF Avengers. And you can see they're a little better as well, 4.3. And then the dive bombers are a 5.3. Okay, so those come out for us. And then for the Japan ones, the 0 actually gets worse. Remember, it was an 8.3, now it's a 7.4. So the zeros are still pretty tough, but their 8 goes down to a 7, and then their double hits actually goes up. So I would say it's pretty much the equivalent. We already know that their dive bombers don't change, and then their torpedo bombers don't change either. So they basically stay the same. So remember that rule, Japan never improves, they only degrade, or they stay the same. So let's move this back. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, so for example, these are all the ships, right? Lexington, I already have a Yorktown, I already have a Saratoga, I already have an Enterprise, I don't think I have a Bunker Hill or an Essex, but I don't have the Lexington. So these would all go in for production. So these 3 for sure would go in for a new production. Everything else though, I already have, and they haven't sunk yet. So this is where the choice starts to kick in, and I'm going to show you the next set of rules that apply to that choice. So here is the fleet sheet rules. And so for the war expansion, if you're using this expansion and the war expansion at the same time, set up 1940, continue and to use the 42 fleet cards even into 1943 and beyond. So basically the fleet cards we have are the same fleet cards we're going to use. The game comes with other fleet cards for 1943, but we're not going to use those. Like this is 44 actually. Where's the 43s? So there's like Surface Fleet 2 for 1943. We don't use it. We're just going to use the same ones. And then anytime a battleship is sunk and they build a new battleship, it just replaces it. So basically, you're just using it as like the template, if you will. So that's all this expansion does, with the fleet cards. So we're just going to continue to use them. Fleet destruction. You remove it from the map, and then you place future reinforcements on it, which we never fully destroyed a fleet. We always had like one ship left. But it's basically, those fleet cards never go away. It's just you constantly, when you get reinforcements, that's the first place you try to put those reinforcements. You try to repopulate the template. Okay, so where is that choice that I keep telling you about? Well, we got to come back to this one. There's the optional rule. As the war progressed, some force counters have their values adjusted. If you like, you may freely swap out an existing counter on the map for its revised counter. So we have the Enterprise carrier, for example. We could swap that out for the 1943 version, reflecting that it's a new year. Okay. Most forces retain the same values, but some counters, such as aircraft carriers, have noticeably improved values. I can tell you that for Japan, that is not true. This rule helps you and hurts Japan. I guarantee you that that's what this rule does. But if you decide to use this rule, use it for both US and Japan. So Japan gets the free upgrade, same as you. Now, if you don't use this rule, how does this work? Well, all the 1943 stuff for Japan goes into the production queue, and then as they pull it off the reinforcement queue, you would just use them to replace what's already on the board. And same for us. If we produced, you know, the Enterprise, the new Enterprise, it would replace counters that are already on the board. It wouldn't be, we wouldn't have two Enterprises on the board. It creates a bit of a conundrum. Here's the first issue with the conundrum. If you just swap everything out, which I still think is the best outcome, but the problem with that is you're helping yourself and you're hurting them. But thematically, if you can just remind yourself that Japan is out of resources and things are degrading and they're not able to do upkeep on their ships as much as the Americans, I think it works. And then after how tough 1942 just was, you may want to do it anyways because you just survived and this is your reward, is you get better ships and they don't. So I still think that's the best thing, and that's what we're going to do, okay? But the other option is to make it so you have to produce them. I would say this is the ultimate challenge because to produce the new Enterprise carrier, so let's just show you. I mean, the Enterprise has a 6.3 here. That's what the new one does. The old one is a 4.2, okay? You're paying 5 production points, and you're waiting 5 turns for this thing to be produced just to replace a carrier that's already on the board. So you don't get anything new other than you just get a number that's better. Considering how our production queue is going right now, I'm not going to have enough resource points or time to upgrade my Enterprise. It'll be like 1944 before I finally upgrade the Enterprise. So that's your drawback. So if you choose to pay to upgrade everything before it gets placed on the board, you're going to probably not produce much. I mean, I know we need to produce a new shipyard, and you know, so that way we have a higher capacity of ships that we can produce at a time. But you need supply points to be able to buy all this stuff. And the supply points in 1943 don't go up by that much. I mean, we ended 1942 with 22 supply points. You start 1943 with 22 supply points. Now, it eventually goes up to 27 by the end of the year, but that's still only an increase of 5. So I'm just warning you that if you choose to do the basic rule here, where you have to produce everything, you're probably going to get backlogged. And that's why I guess they did do an optional rule. I sort of like it. Now, a pain in the butt, no matter which way you go, is you got to keep track of which ones are already on your board versus which ones are just new. So that's a big deal. Like, for example, this Essex carrier, we know that one's new. And so if I produce it, it'll go onto the board new. But some of these other ones, especially when you get into like 22nd Bomber Group, right? I'm not going to remember if that's new or not new. And that's the thing. You're going to have to like scan the entire board to find them. So the reason why I recommend using the optional rule is we're going to do that now. We're going to scan the entire board and replace everything now. Otherwise, you have to do it when each time they're produced, and it completely slows down your game, and it's going to slow down my ability to record a game. Because every time a turn ends, I'm going to have to stop recording so I can scan the entire board and see if the things that just got produced is already on the board. And also remember, the Japanese are going to throw their stuff into the reinforcement pool. They build it for free, basically. They don't spend anything. You know that. So if you don't do this optional rule, their reinforcement pool will be really large. So they'll constantly be producing stuff. Sometimes what they produce is only replacing what's on the board. And then sometimes they're going to be making new things that will be added to the board. If you do the optional rule, then whatever goes in the reinforcement pool is truly going to be reinforcement pool. And then the last thing about this is some of the ships that we sank are going to be replaced by them, because in 1943 they may have that 1943 version of that ship, and sure enough it'll come back into the game. So that's true no matter which way you go. But the big thing is if you sank a ship, it's going into their reinforcement pool. You don't just put it right on the map. Okay, so I think I covered that sufficiently. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll try my best to answer those. It's very confusing, and it's also very painful. So take, for example, the American ships. I'm going to go ahead and list, well, these are the new 1943 ones, so I'm going to put those to the right. I got this big stack of doom, so let's grab that. And my recommendation is you're going to have to just sort them. So destroyer, cruiser, and another destroyer, submarine, cruiser, there's an Enterprise, a lot of destroyers, a lot of cruisers, another carrier, and 2 submarines, right? So that's our situation, right? That's what we have. And then in the hopper is the Phoenix Boise, and then actually we got one more cruiser, okay? So what I can do now is I can go grab, so I grabbed the carriers, and I knew that these 3 carriers are upgrades to the existing ones, right? The Lexington would have been an upgrade, but Lexington didn't survive. So I can see here that all 3 of these, 6.3, 6.3, 6.3, versus 2.1, 4.2, 4.2, they're huge upgrades. So what I would do is I would just swap them out. Now, one thing I was contemplating is, if they're an upgrade, maybe I should produce them, because, and this is just an optional house rule. Give me a second. So say there's the South Dakota, Indiana here. Oh, that's not one of them. Oh, these are battleships, never mind. Desron 6, let's grab that one. Desron 6 is already on the board. It's a 3-2-3, right? The new Desron 6 is also a 3-2-3. There's no upgrade here. So what you could do is leave these ones out, and if this ever sinks, then you have a new one you can build, right? So this becomes like almost like a cushion. Like you can afford to lose this now, because now you got another one that you can build to replace the one that you lost. If you just replace it now and you lose it, well, there's no replacement. You know, it's out of the game. So you could say, okay, I got the 42 one, and this one will replace anything if I lose it. That's not in the rules, by the way. It's an interesting take on it, right? Another thing you can do is just say, well, screw it. I'm going to have 2 Desron 6s out there. I mean, what does it matter, right? And so whatever new comes out in 43, I'm going to build it. I still think that you're going to run into the issue of you just don't have enough supply points to build everything that's new from 43. And here, let me explain why. So if I put this one away, in 1943 alone, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new carriers. They're either going to be light or escort, right? So the United States is going bonkers with new carriers. And just producing these is going to cost you 28 supply points. And this is just the carriers. And then there's battleships. There's all kinds of new stuff coming. So again, I just think that if you don't replace them automatically, you're going to get stuck with, well, you'll have a lot of choices for sure, but there's probably no way you're going to produce everything. Now, what's interesting though is, let's say maybe if you get this thing fully upgraded, this does extra rushes, so you can rush production. You might actually get that extra stuff out quicker. I don't know. I mean, that's the part that troubles me. And, but the amount of points you're gonna have to spend to get these upgrades is insane. So I don't know, more power to you if you can get all these upgraded. With that said, these 3 out, these 3 are in. So we have upgraded carriers, and to be quite honest, you need it. You absolutely do, because you saw how we were hanging on by a thread in 1942. The good news is they can't roll a 19 anymore, so Midway is no longer a threat, but everything else would be. Well, Midway would be because of an objective issue. But so what you do is you then go through the rest of your stacks and you replace anything that says 43 with 42. The ships are fairly easy. The part that gets hard is, you got to go through all your infantry and find the 43 version. And I'll be honest with you, most of them aren't even an upgrade. So you're just replacing them just for the sake of replacing them. So it's painful. It'll take a really long time. And I'll try to do all this off camera, and we'll see you in 43. Thank you.